Yo, what's going on? This is Coach Mike D, and I'm doing this quick message right now to let y'all know that for me, my work is not done. My work is not done, and I want to explain what I mean by that. Um, First off, I want to encourage every person, especially the guys, to have a relationship with a physician. Go get your checkups, get all the diagnostic work you need to get done, understand your baseline numbers, understand what's going on with you, especially as we age, right? Because things do change, right? Things do change, and you want to be aware of those changes. So if you need to get colonoscopies, you need to get your CBC, you need to get, whatever other scans, you need to get your PSA numbers, you need to get all of those things, anything that's required or necessary, just so that you have an awareness of what's going on. Fellas, especially, I'm going to encourage you to get it done. Okay? Get her done. But I mentioned earlier that my work is not done. And it's one of those things where when you understand where you are and you realize that you are in a position from a health perspective to make the most of life, you have to make the most of life, because there will be an expiration date for all of us. At some point, we're going to be done. But while you're here, while you're in the position to make an impact, fellas especially, but also ladies and anybody else out there, it's time to make an impact. Your work is not done yet because you're still here. But the whole concept about having a relationship with a physician, recently I had my annual physical, blood work done, conversation with my doc and all of that. My numbers came back great. But what's interesting is at times, or not at times, I typically have high LDL cholesterol, okay? I have very high HDL as well. My triglycerides are super low, and I have no other risk factors, no blood pressure issues, no pre-diabetes, none of that stuff, right? But my LDL is typically elevated, but I have no other risk factors. And so one of the things that I asked my doctor last time was, it's like, okay, is there any other diagnostic test that could be done just to make sure that there's nothing underlying that I'm not aware of, like no ticking time bomb? And he said, well, what we could do is we could do a CT scan to just basically look at, the arteries and around your heart or in your heart. And so long story short, I got the CT scan done, and it's called a calcium test. And basically they look to see if there's any plaque buildup or calcium buildup in your arteries and your heart. Long story short, my score was 0. So no other risk factors. I have elevated LDL, but everything else is fine. But what was interesting about getting that test done, when they did the CT scan, the report was fine, test score 0, all of that. But at the very bottom of the report, they had small abnormal finding of a nodule on your right lung. I was like, okay. Now that was at the very bottom of the report. Nobody made mention of it. I guess it was something that potentially was viewed as incidental, but it was something that I noticed. So I actually engaged my physician about it, and I asked him, what's going on with that? His initial response was, honestly, it's not at a size that's of a concern to us. So I really wouldn't I really wouldn't allow it to concern you of any way, right? But again, this is my health and my body. So I consulted a family member who's also a physician. Their response to me was, well, even if it's incidental, even if it's nothing, at least get a second look at it just to make sure. And if it is something, you can get the size documented so that if it is something going forward, it can be monitored. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take that advice to heart. So I, in essence, got the nodule looked at. So they had to do like a contrast CT scan where they injected a contrast into my arteries and, put you through the CT scanner. And then they saw the nodule, and it came back that it was super, super small. It was like a millimeter, and it looked to be benign and all of that. So it was nothing of consequence, right? And it was basically kind of incidental, like my initial physician mentioned, but it gave me peace of mind to understand what's going on. And I'll be honest, leading up to this CT scan, I was a little nervous. I was like, man, I'm not a smoker or anything like that. So I'm like, man, is this something that is kind of going on? And the thing is, you can allow your mind to go way off in left field and speculate, or you can go get proof of what's going on. And so, again, I'm human, so I'm still speculating. But then when the results came back, everything was fine. It was good. And that's what spawned me to talk today about the notion of my work is not done yet. Because when you get feedback that lets you know that, all right, you got everything you need to move forward, you just have to move forward. You got to move forward. And so anybody out there who's, when you think everything might be scary or challenging, but then you get confirmation that, okay, even though it may be scary or challenging, I have what I need to move forward. I'm going to encourage you to move forward because your time is not up yet. When your time is up, your time is up. But until then, we got to move forward. And so if you're in a situation like me where you just got, some good news and you're just like, yo, this is what's up, man, ain't no stopping me now. It's time to move forward. So as it pertains to my calling, my purpose of encouraging, empowering, and enhancing, the lives of high impact folks from around the world, dude, it's about to get accelerated right now. And so for all those that are out there, develop a relationship with your physicians, get all the checks you need to get checked, get all the diagnostic stuff you need to get done so that it's better to know what's going on so that you can take the steps to remedy an issue, or if nothing's going on, so that you can build on that and become better. Whatever it is, take the necessary steps, develop a relationship with your physician, take action. Even if the feedback isn't what you want, get second opinions, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to care for your body like you will. So take the necessary action. But then also when it's time to put your foot on the gas and make something happen. Because literally, if you're here and you can hear this message, that means you got time, and that time is now. Let's not waste it. All right. So y'all be blessed, well, and wise, and I will holla at you. This is Coach Mike D. Peace.